isn't just about lawn care. The Grass Factor is about the science behind why we do what we do. But we are stewards of the environment. We are stewards of the planet. It is our responsibility. Well, it's about time for the next application on my Bermuda grass. This is something else. Let me show you what this is. This right here is one of my least favorite weeds when dealing with warm season grass. This is called American burnweed, also known as fireweed. As you can see, it is very, very, very shallow rooted. Typically, it germinates in the thatch layer and pushes into the soil that way. Sometimes it tacks into the soil, sometimes it doesn't. Usually it's growing just right there at the surface, barely rooted into the ground. The problem is when this germinates, it comes in droves. There's going to be thousands and thousands and thousands of little tiny plants that come up. Sometimes mowing alone will get rid of it. Sometimes an herbicide application is necessary. Obviously, in this instance, I'm probably going to go the herbicide application. A simple application of 3-way will get rid of it. But timing is usually everything with fireweed. You want to wait on your herbicide application till you get a very good general idea of where all it's going to be. So the main thing is making sure you time your application correctly, because if you spray it too early, then you're still going to have more plants to deal with, and ultimately will lead to more callbacks, more issues, more herbicides need to be applied. If you wait too late, it becomes incredibly unsightly, and it typically incites panic in people because it seems to cover the entire yard. And one of the main things I get told is that this is taking over my lawn. It's not. It's just there. It's unsightly and it needs to be dealt with. American burnweed, fireweed. Alright, down here at the ground level in my yard, it is full of fireweed. I see a fescue clump. There's some oxalis there. Let me zoom in on it. That is going to be yellow wood sorrel, also known as oxalis. There is a piece of cudweed. Actually, that's dock. I'm sorry. That's curly dock. There's some more curly dock. If you look out across the yard there, it's got a lot of fireweed in it. But today, and today only, I'm not treating the fireweed. I'm actually going to put down a growth regulator. I'm going to be spraying a product called T-NEX on my Bermuda grass. T-NEX, the active ingredient is trinaxapac methyl. What it does is suspend the production of gibberellic acids in the plant. Gibberellins particularly cause the plants to grow upward and reach towards the sunlight. By suspending the production of gibberellins, or minimizing the amount of gibberellic acid in a plant, what you do is you suspend some of that upward growth, and the rest of the plant functions as normal. So what ends up happening typically is you get a flood of chlorophyll in the remaining leaf tissue, because that additional chlorophyll is not spread out over a larger grass area, larger surface area of turf grass. So in its more condensed form, you get a higher amount of chlorophyll in that condensed form. Let's fire up the machine. Let's get down some fertilizer. Let's get down some T-NEX. Maybe next week we'll take care of this this weed issue we got here. But first things first. Now, if you decide to use a product like T-NEX 1AQ, the old bottle, one thing to keep in mind is that it can potentially have phytotoxic effects. So you have to be very careful with your rate. It's better to start small and work your way up than it is to jump out of the gun with a high rate. So on Bermuda grass, you know, you're going to see a rate range anywhere from, you know, 6 to, you know, we'll say like 11 ounces to the acre. Well, if it's your first time treating Bermuda grass with this particular product, I would recommend starting at a low rate. So for instance, instead of running full label rate, which I think is 8 ounces on Bermuda grass, I'm going to cut that in half, and I'm going to run 4 ounces to the acre for this first application. Now, I'm also going to put down fertilizer today, and I'm going to put down my 10-0-10, and I'm also going to be putting down RGS today, and let's see what that does. I think the root stimulation effect from the RGS plus the fertilizer for the color response plus the T-NEX to minimize the top growth, I'd say here in a week or two should look really good. Let's get this tank mixed up and get it put it out.
I just can't wait until the summer. I just can't wait until the summer. Where my spirit's free, no one's stopping me now. I just can't wait until the summer. When I meet with you again, yeah. I just can't wait until the summer. When my spirit's free, no one's stopping me now. I just can't wait until the summer. When I meet with you again, yeah. I just can't wait. I just can't wait. I just can't wait. I just can't wait until the summer. I just can't wait until the
Okay, that's it. Next application down. We got down just under a pound of N. We put down T-NEX, the growth regulator, trinaxapac methyl, also known as Primo. We also put down RGS. This would be the equivalent of 6 ounces per thousand. This would be a higher rate of RGS. Obviously, I got plenty of weeds. I got fireweed, I got the curly dock, I've got some oxalis. It's here, but we're going to contend with that later. For the time being, let's see what happens. Y'all stick around. Have a good one.